What's going on, everyone? Justin again, as always. Thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Today I've got two videos going for you. I wanted to break this down into two separate parts to kind of try to keep the time down, because I know that some of the videos I make can be rather lengthy. So today's going to be kind of like a how-to video. Most motorcycle batteries are pretty much the same. There is a process that you have to go through in order to get the battery set up and prepared prior to installation. Now, like I said, this bike's been sitting for about 10 years, so it had more than a few cells that were dead in the battery, so we had to get a new battery for it. Today I did get a new battery for it, so I will be showing you how to set up the battery for most any motorcycle. I'll show you where the most motorcycle battery locations are, and I'll show you how to install it, and then we'll see if we can't get this thing to start up. That being said, let's roll right on into it and see how to set this battery up. Alright, couple things you're going to need for this process. Obviously, one, you're going to need a battery of some kind. I just happened to pick up the same exact battery that came out of the bike, which is a Napa Power Sport 14-BS. And you're also going to need some way of being able to charge the battery prior to installation. So you'll need a trickle charger of some kind. This does 10 amp, 2 amp, 55 amp, covers 6 and 12 volt batteries, etc., etc. So we have ourselves a trickle charger. So now we'll get this out of the way. Let's unbox our battery and get it prepared. I'll show you how to set this up. Like I said, most motorcycle batteries are going to require you do this. So I figure we just go ahead and cover it in a video tutorial. You're going to get some hardware. Now, I kept the hardware from the previous battery, but it's not a bad idea to have extra hardware on hand. And let me get the battery out here. Got our battery, and we got our fill kit, which I'll show you in a second. Digging down at the bottom here. Alright, checking this out real quick, just seeing what it is. Gold series. Okay, nice helpful little installation guide on how to set it up. So that's going to help you to figure out how to set up your battery. But since I already got the gist of the overall process, we're just going to go ahead and roll right on into it. So, a couple things it comes with: battery, and then our filler kit. So in this battery, I'll set that off to the side for right now. Got a couple things going on. You can see that this is actually covering up the, I believe they're lead plates. It's the internal cells of the battery. We're going to need to fill those up with this. Now on this, I'm sure this is some kind of special diluted water or distilled water. But at any rate, if I remove this little cap here from the top of this, you'll see that it has little tiny foil all the way around. Do not take those off. Leave them on there. This is what we're going to use to cap the battery with, and that goes on top to protect those so you don't accidentally puncture them. Set that off to the side. We will need to remove the tape. I don't know if I got to zoom in here or not, but let me bring this up here. You'll see there's little tiny angled male ends in there, and that's what we're going to pierce the foil with using this filler. So this is going to take apparently 10 minutes, but I'll show you how it works. We're going to line it up like so. We're just going to tap it on in there and let it do its thing. You'll see it's bubbling right now. That's just filling up. So that's going to take a few minutes for it to do that. I'm not going to make you guys watch this whole thing, but you can see it's almost about a third of the way down. And this is part of the process. Figured I'd share it with you. Alright, getting down to the nitty gritty. She's almost done filling up. See, we only have a little bit left in here, and here, and here. It's almost done. You can tell when it's almost done when it starts gurgling towards the end. And that is it. So we will remove the top now. And now we're going to cap it with the little cap that it came with. See how it says do not open? We're going to cap it with that. Just smush that on here. Go across. I'm going to push down rather firmly to get it to set. After you've done this, there's no going back, alright? Completely sealed now. This is going to get you about 2 or 3 years in the desert. So now let's get it set up on the trickle charger so it can begin to charge. Alright, now we're going to get it set up on the trickle charger. Now, if your bike is like your weekend warrior or daily rider, you might not have to actually trickle charge this battery. It might just have enough juice in it so you can install it in the bike, start it up, and go for a trip or two around, you know, the block or whatever to try to get it charged back up that way. However, if you're not planning on going on a ride right away, or the bike's been sitting for a long time, you're going to want to do a trickle charge for a little while. So we're going to get it set up here. We want, definitely want 2 amp. So let me go over 1, 2. That's going to put us on a 2 amp trickle charge. We want to charge it, not start it. Then you're going to want to find your positive and negative terminal posts. Red for positive, black for negative, or ground, however you want to look at it. Hook them up in any order you would like to, because we're not currently plugged into the wall. Once we plug into the wall, we're hot. Everything's live. So in that case, you want to make sure these things aren't just resting against each other when you go to plug it in the wall, or you're going to have some welding fun. So at any rate, we got it hooked up here to our battery. We're going to plug it into the wall and begin our slow trickle charge. Sorry if it's a little blurry, guys, but you can see it's a 6 to 12 volt charge. See if I can get it zoomed in here for us. We are set up on 2 amp. We are set to charge. You do see how the DC amps have gone up to 3 amps for us roughly. When the charge is complete, the indicator light will turn green. And while that's charging, I'll just go ahead and cover the typical battery locations on most bikes. It's typically going to be underneath the seat. In this case, I already have the bolts taken out for the Volcan, so we do that by sliding the seat off. And I don't know if you guys can see down there or not. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. If I was to zoom in, sorry, turning up the lighting here. You see I have a couple of cables. I've got my ground cable here, my battery positive cable here, and we'll just simply install it down there. KTM 390 Duke's going to be a little bit different, but in a similar location, so let's take a look at that. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can see this or not, hopefully you can. KTM has their seat pop lifter key right here. You just simply put the key in, twist, hold, lift up on the back seat, like so. And that's going to pop our back seat off. Now in here I've got my paperwork, you know, my very important paperwork like my permit and everything like that. And then we can go ahead and lift this main seat off. And you'll see here, I don't know if you can see that or not, I got my ground, battery ground here, and my battery positive here. And it's also covered up and held down and it's in position. I figured I'd just bring you guys around so you can see it. There's our battery on the KTM 390 Duke. You can see the battery positive, plus sign, battery ground, negative sign. It's got a 10mm bolt that goes through. There's a little tiny retainer nut that's just underneath that holds it down, followed by this little strap that you just simply undo, pull the battery out. I'm not sure how this battery hasn't charged by now, which is stupid, but it's been charging for a little bit. My patience has run out, so we're gonna see how charged it is. I'm sliding in the little tabs now for the battery. I'm going to move these cables out of my way. Oh, I've got plenty of working room here. And I'm making sure ground and positive, same side, same side. I'm going to drop it down slowly so as I don't lose any of the fasteners. Okay. Now I'll strap the battery on. Make sure that this is a 10. It is. You guys see that all right? I should be able to. All right. So our battery is as charged as it's going to be. We went through the whole entire bike. Now you're going to hook the positive up first. You just drive the little 10mm bolt in there. I always go back to the left first to seat the bolt before I start trying to tighten it down, and that just makes sure that I didn't cross thread something. And once it starts to get snugged down by hand, then I'll tighten it up with the ratchet afterwards. Now we can put our ground, we can hook our ground up. I'm just going to tuck these other wires underneath. You might see a little spark, don't be shocked. And I see that we need to bump it over a little bit because it started to slide out. So again, I'm going to spin our bolt to the left just so it sits, and then I'm going to start threading it in by hand. Okay, I'm just going to lightly tighten up both. You don't have to go too crazy. I'm happy with that. Set that up there. And that's it. That's all you gotta do to install your battery. So let's put the seat on, back this puppy out of the garage, and see how much juice we got. We might not have enough because I only let it trickle charge for about an hour, but I'm hoping that was enough time to give us something. So let's go roll it out. Alright, again, I don't know what this is going to do or not do, but she's been sitting for 10 years. We just installed a new battery, put 1 gallon of fresh gas in it, checked fluids, checked our hoses. Everything appears to be on the up and up. So I'm going to hold the front brake, make sure I'm not in gear. I'm going to turn the key on first. We got lights. Lights, camera, action, huh? Now I'll need to check to make sure that my fuel's on. I want to pull the choke here on the side. And just in case, I'm going to pull the clutch in too. So I don't know if it's in gear or not. Ooh. A second here. I need to try to get some fuel down there. Let's try again. Push the choke in. Try to pull the choke out again. Seems like we should be good for go. Ooh, almost. Wants to. That carburetor just might be just that gummed up. I don't think it's going to go, guys. We don't want to burn our starter out either. Well, it was worth a shot. We know we got power. We definitely got some fuel, but the carburetor's junk. I was really hoping it would be just as simple as tossing a battery in to see if we could fire it up so we could feel what the customer's concern was 10 years ago. But it's just sat so long, it's really... So we're just going to need to jump online, start looking into carburetors for the bike, and then we'll go from there. Once we get one, we'll go through the process of how to remove and replace the carburetor. If we can't find one, we might try to get a rebuild kit and show you guys how to rebuild one. Or I'll show you how to rebuild one. So that's all I got for this video, guys. Thanks as always for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down. We'll see you next time. Sorry it didn't start.